the last time that England scored 849 in the West Indies. And it was during the 1930s when actually that particular winter, they had to play two test series in different parts of the world because they were trying to spread the gospel of cricket around the place. And so the MCC committed to England touring New Zealand in the winter of 1930 and also the Caribbean. And it's the only time, it was the first test in Christchurch, and I think the second test in Barbados, is the only time that a country has played two tests on the same day in different parts of the world. I just got a lovely picture actually on my screen here, and it's a shot of 7 of the England team in the Caribbean in that 1930 series, all in the swimming pool in their singlets. So it's like almost like something out of Chariots of Fire, actually. One of the players in the pool is Andrew Sandham, who we know now scored that 325 in that match, which was at the time the first ever triple hundred made in Test cricket. And his record only lasted 3 months because, of course, guess who? Donald Bradman overtook it in the Ashes about 3 months later. Basically, it was the last test of the series, the 4-test series, and the both captains agreed that this should be a timeless test because the series was tied at 1-1, and so they said, right, we'll just play until there's a result. So Sandham went into bat, but he'd sold all his kit before because it was the last test, so he had to borrow a bat, and that was cracked. So he had to use several bats, and it was also a long handle, and he was only a short man, so that was a problem. He also he'd run out of footwear, so he had to borrow Patsy Hendren's shoes, which kept falling off. One of them kept falling off during his innings, kept slipping off. He made these 325 over a day and a half, or a bit more, and it contained a 7, a 5, and 27 boundaries in England's total of 849. He was batting for a while with Les Ames, the Kent and England wicketkeeper, who was much younger. So Sandham was 40, was in his 40th year. Les Ames was only 20, and they put on a partnership of about 300. It says, being called for a quick single too many times, Sandham called the youthful stumper Les Ames over and said, now look here, it's all right for you, but I've been in for hours and I'm in my 40th year. So stop running so fast. Luckily, Root was able to keep up with Harry Brook in that incredible partnership the other day of 454.
Yeah, and Sandham's 325 just shows how much the game's changed. Made his runs off 640 balls, whereas Harry Brooks came off, well, it was just about run a ball, wasn't it? His 317.
West Indies were then bowled out for about 250, but rather than enforcing the follow-on, Calthorpe, the England captain, decided to bat again and set West Indies 836 to win, which, after about the 6th day, they were on course to get at 400 for 3 with the great George Headley, the Black Bradman, making a double hundred. But he was eventually out. Then there was a couple of days of rain, and then they decided on the 9th day they'd better call it a draw because England's boat was leaving to go back to the UK.
It's the old story. The boat's leaving. You've got to end the test match. It's all very well having these timeless test matches, but you've got to look at the boat schedules. And that's, of course, that's what happened in the last ever timeless test in Durban, where England were, they were going for 600, weren't they? They were about 40 odd short. But, sorry, the boat's leaving. You're going to have to get the train off to Cape Town from Durban. Otherwise, you're going to miss your boat home.